This is Fantastic Pains and How We Hide Them. I'm not Chris.
And I'm not Karina.
But we're here together.
As usual.
And we have some interesting topics to talk about today.
I mean, we say that a lot.
I think they're interesting.
I think this week will be interesting.
Yeah. Because I couldn't talk about it if I didn't find it interesting.
True.
I'd be like, that's boring and I have nothing to say.
Right.
So I have useless knowledge in all things that I'm interested in.
You're so ADHD.
Very. It is time for our weekly
recap.
Good job. It's time for the weekly recap.
Check in.
Bitch.
Subtitle.
I think it's my turn, is it? Whose turn is it? I think it's yours.
We can just flip for it. I think it is mine. It is my turn. No. I went first and third last time because I forgot about Jen.
Oh, yeah, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to go first and third now.
I mean, I feel like I should go first.
I think so, because my week was a mess,
It's a
and there's a
doozy.
lot.
Mine is just a little bunch of dealing with you. No.
Wow.
I had to deal with Jen too, so it wasn't just you.
You really are the patriarchy today, huh?
I don't think my soul could handle that sentence. Now I have to die. It got me right where it hurts. Right in the patriarchy.
Right in the patriarchy. I knew it.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and go first.
Let's see. My week. We had to do more kidney fun with Jen. She passed a second kidney stone. So that was fun. And she immediately she passed the kidney stone, decided to eat some leftovers. So she ate leftover beef and broccoli. And she had 2 bites and then was puking and dealing with other parts of that fun thing for about 6 hours.
Oh, God.
She couldn't leave the bathroom.
Oh.
I had to go in there and take care of her. I had to clean out the tub a couple times.
No more beef.
Well, and she shouldn't be eating it
You're
anyways.
like, wrong choice, friend.
You know, red meats are what cause kidney stones for her, so she has to avoid it anyways. But I think it was a combination of the two.
Right.
So we had to deal with that. She's also dealing with a lot of family issues at the moment.
Yeah.
Like the beginning of the week was rough. Lots of crying. Lots of rough. Yeah. And I've just been drained.
Crying. Yeah.
Like incessantly. I had a manic low yesterday. It's funny, my manic doesn't last long anymore because of the medication, but when it hits hard.
Right.
So it's like, you know how you have like a manic episode would go and kind of like plateau and then go. It's more like I hit a high point, suffer a lot, and then it drops down again. It was intense. That's why I messaged. I was like, I need sanity or insanity. I need something right now.
I was like, I had a day too, so I'm coming over.
Holy crap, did she have a day?
Yeah, Friday was not good.
So that was my week.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that was all of it. Because, I mean, the rest of it was just dealing with you.
Yeah, the absorbing other people's week.
Oh, God. I was just taking all the negative energy from everybody.
Oh, it was just so bad. It was a week. So my week started, let's see, Monday. I don't even remember. Monday, Tuesday, I think passed without incident for the most part. And then, let's see. So Wednesday I had off because I had appointments to do. So I went and I saw the Rapid Start Clinic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. So the Rapid Start Clinic, sorry, I had to find my place in my brain. Rapid Start Clinic, fun times. So they went and they did a bunch of labs and stuff. And then a therapist came and talked to me and he was like, do you want counseling over this? And I was like, no, it's fine. I'm good. And so he stuck around and chatted because he was like, I work sped and he has a kiddo who is special needs.
Yeah.
And so we chatted about that for a minute. And then the nurse came in to assess my, withdrawal risk.
God damn.
And I was just like, okay, I guess. Okay.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? A headache?
Right. I might be a little grouchy for a while. I don't.
And it's not really withdrawals. It's,
no.
If anything, you're upset. You'd be grouchy because you lost your
Yes, because I'm like,
step.
I want the thing that helps me to cope and bail out.
Right, because your order is marijuana. Then what was layer 2?
Usually muscle relaxer.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then pain meds.
Last resort is pain meds.
Yep.
Mine's the second and third step. I'm not allowed to have weed because of my pain contract, but Yeah. So you losing the majority of your system.
Yeah.
would
So I'm
make
like,
you
great,
grouchy.
now I have to find like other coping skills. And so then the doctor came in and I was worried because it was a she, but she was lovely. She was wonderful. She is sending, I can't remember the order of this. So she's sending it to my doctor to send me back to the pain clinic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be working with integrated pain services. And I only ever saw them the one time.
Right.
Way back when.
You
So,
did the class.
Yeah. It's
and
been
then-
like 3 years ish.
Oh, wow. Has
Yeah.
it been that long?
Yeah. Because think about it. We were diagnosed,
Shoot.
or I was diagnosed in 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep. So
That
it's
went
been
quick.
it's been a long time now. And so she was like, we can up your gabapentin. And she was like, don't go over 1,200 milligrams a day without talking to me. And I was like, okay, sure. Okay. So I was
Whatever
like
you say.
on board with that for the most part. And then I went and saw Neurology, he's brand new to me.
Yeah.
And he was very thorough, which I super appreciated. It was a longer appointment. He actually spent time like asking questions about like the quality of my pain, and the quality of the spasms. And so he agreed that it is, what is it called? Paroxysmal dyskinesia, I think.
Sounds right.
Yeah. And it causes these like episodic
Yeah.
attacks, which is why I could never like pin it down, because it was like, it's like dystonia.
not
It's
constant.
a dystonia.
It's episodic.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I have these like really violent episodes. Oh, that's what it was. Monday I had a really, really bad like neuro
Oh, yeah.
episode.
Yep.
And I was in so much pain, and I was just like shaking all the way through. And I had to go lay on the floor in the living room because my poor husband's trying to sleep while I'm doing all of this. It was just so weird. It was just a weird episode. And then it like stops
Right.
on a dime. It's just done. And you're like, okay, what was that? I
Well,
just
remember when we thought it was seizures? Like,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Mhm. Well, and the other
in
thing
hindsight.
about the paroxysmal dyskinesia is that they can last seconds to hours.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing when they were looking at it
Because
like
it was
seizures.
so long.
They were like, it's too long to be a seizure.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. But yeah, so now we're pretty sure we know what's going on.
And you have new vocabulary.
Yes. And he was like, what's happening is that you have like your electrical is just wonky. And so he's like, you get caught in this essentially like a feedback loop. And then you get these like rhythmic movements,
Mhm.
which is what happens. And so he also was like, go ahead and double your gabapentin. And so doing that, I'm at, I think, let's see.
You were doing 300
3 times
before.
6, so
18?
yeah.
Oops.
So 18 is what I'm on now.
yeah.
So I gotta like email her and be like, Neuro said double it. And also like they
Well-
wanted to go slow, but it's me.
Yeah.
I don't have crazy side effects and my body adapts really quickly.
I've
So
never
I
had a problem
literally
with, like-
just doubled it and it was fine.
I've never had a problem with speed. Like how quickly you take it. I've always, I either have side effects from the medication or I
Right.
don't. It's never like I have to ramp
You
up
have to
to
build
a
up.
point.
Yeah. And I don't understand that thinking. Like, I don't know. Maybe normal people are different. But for me, I'm like, let's just do it. Let's double it. She's like, you can add one at bedtime and then add another one like a week later. And I was like,
Unnecessary.
no.
Dude,
So I
depending
doubled
on the
it
day,
that same day.
I'll take one 300 or I'll take 3 300s. Like,
Right. Yeah.
if I'm having a bad day, I'm gonna take more.
So now I'm taking 600 3 times a day.
Yeah, so that puts you at 18.
So I've got to email her and be like, sorry.
Well, Neuro suggested it,
Yeah.
so I'm sure she'll be okay with it.
Well, and that was his thing. He was just like, let's try to interrupt that feedback loop. The gabapentin should help. We're going to double that. And then he wants me to keep like a log of
Yeah.
episodes.
To see if it helps.
Yeah.
Like, reduce.
Well, and he's like, what we're going for is not that it'll stop probably. Because he was like, I don't want to introduce more medication just yet. Let's try this with a medication that you know.
Hmm.
And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, because you can figure out if it
Yeah.
is being affected by it or not.
Right. And so I'm supposed to see him, I think, in 3
Yeah, 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah. So I need to make that appointment too.
You have a lot of appointments.
I'm really bad at making appointments because I'm like, yeah, I got the referral, and then I forget about it.
I'm really bad about keeping appointments because if I don't have pain, it doesn't exist.
Well, and that was the problem because I have that open referral for my elbow and
Yeah.
my ankle, and I just have forgotten because they weren't bothering me at that moment. What?
I missed my ultrasound.
Oh no, when was that?
Oh, it was the day that Jen was sick.
Oh, okay.
So we'll just reschedule it. They were going to do the throat ultrasound to see what was going on with my throat. But
Yeah. The what is it? Dysphagia.
Dysphagia.
There's too many disses in EDS. It's just how it is.
And as a side note, I'm hoping that when I meet with my new pain management, it'll go like your neuro.
Yeah.
Where it's an actual get to know each other, go over everything.
Yeah.
Not just, I see on your list you're taking these. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the funny thing was he was talking to me and I was talking about the retrocollis.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not even documented here. So I'm glad we're doing this. And I was like, okay, good. Well, and I thought it was weird he didn't document it because he was the one, the old neuro was the one who told me what it was.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a name for it until he was like, oh, that's what that is. But he didn't document it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I have that and I have the new chattering one that sucks. I fucking hate it. Because it's like, we grew up sailing, right? In Grand Lake where the water is very cold. It's like that, like violent shivering and chattering for no reason. No reason. Because a cool breeze blew across the back of my neck or like I moved wrong or I like...
That is bizarre.
So weird. So weird. So he was like, our goal is to just kind of see if we can shrink the frequency and shrink the episodes. So they probably won't go away, but we'll see what happens. Because if the gabapentin doesn't work, I'm going to push for levodopa.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the one that I see the most often for being helpful with like dyskinesia and dystonias.
Avoid Lyrica. Don't let them do Lyrica.
No. Well, and I have gabapentin. It's the same shit, only better.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on gabapentin from Lyrica.
Yeah.
Like we tried it for a bit. Tried it for like a year, 2 years.
You didn't like it.
Oh no, it was horrible. Oh god, and if you missed like your timing by like an hour, you were just done.
Oh my god. Yesterday was so bad. I didn't take my morning meds until like afternoon.
Holy shit.
Because the whole day, like I didn't stop the entire day. It was just insane. So we had this like really crazy day at work where
it's work in order. So
it was all on fire.
Monday. Tuesday was not dramatic.
No. Tuesday was fine.
Tuesday was Jen.
Yeah. And then Wednesday was off for appointments. Thursday, I got in a car accident and didn't go to work. So a lot of like drama happened while I wasn't there that I had to catch up with on Friday when I got in. Yeah. Because it's just a lot. It's a lot. But it was just a really frustrating day where the whole day just felt icky. Yeah. Like it was just yucky. Nobody was happy with how that day went. And so I was just exhausted. So I went home and I talked to my husband and he had stuff go on that I won't get into because he requested that I not.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, Friday was cursed. It was just cursed for everybody. Yeah. It was awful.
Hell, like in the morning I messaged you even. I was like, I'm having a shit day already.
Yeah.
And then, oh God.
Yeah. It was so bad. Like Friday, it should not have been. Like I'm rejecting Friday entirely.
No more.
That day does not exist anymore. September 3rd, strike it off your calendar. We're skipping it.
Nope. Not doing it.
Yeah, no. It's gone. It's gone.
It's not a holiday. It's an anti-holiday.
It's an anti-holiday. Everyone stay home. Don't go out at all.
Don't even think about having a day.
Because it's cursed. September 3rd, cursed. It's done. It's over.
Yeah.
We're not doing it anymore.
Unless it's your birthday. And happy birthday.
Now it's on the 2nd.
We've moved it.
Or 4th.
You choose.
There's no...
Or both.
Third. Yeah, there you go. Just the whole thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no, yesterday was horrible.
Oh, it was so bad. It was just so bad. And so I've been completely exhausted. Like I just am done. And the car accident was my fault. And so I like spent a good minute beating myself up.
Oh yeah, internaling.
That.
Yeah, take that in. It's all your fault. You're the worst thing ever.
Yep. And so I messaged you and I was like, I'm the worst. Well, I'm telling myself that I'm the worst.
The sentences were like, I got into a car accident. I'm the worst. So I was like, oh my God, how bad was it? What?
It was like, let the self-flogging begin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pity party, basically.
Uh-huh. The like, God dang it, why did you do that? That was really stupid. You should have known that was
Well,
really
it sounds
stupid.
like both parties were at fault, though.
In a way, but it was definitely my fault.
Right. But you know what I mean? They weren't paying
Right.
attention either. So
Exactly. Yeah.
at least they didn't come out of the car with like a gun, like, I'm going to fuck you up.
Well, and they were super sweet. Like, the woman in the driver's seat just like shook my hand and talked to me and was like, we were just talking about how beautiful the sky was after the storm. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself, because I was like, I was trying to go to work and I left my computer, so I had to turn around and go back. And so I got my computer. And then when I was leaving, this happened.
Oh my God.
And I was like, if I had just taken my computer the first time,
it wouldn't
have happened.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have happened. And I shouldn't have like tried to like rush to get to work, because like it's okay if I'm a little late, but it was just dumb.
Yeah.
It was really dumb.
It wasn't the worst, though.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been a lot worse.
Right. Exactly. Like, it's not, nobody was hurt.
Right.
Which was important, but it was just stupid. It was a dumb thing.
It's funny. knowing about the situation at work that happened, and just, I was thinking about the week. I didn't get hurt. You didn't get hurt. Yeah. There's just all this drama around us.
Yeah.
I mean, Jen went through a lot of pain, but
she sucked out yours for a minute.
Yeah, she channeled me hardcore.
Yeah. So it was not a good day on Friday, and it wasn't a good day on Thursday, and Wednesday was okay because I got along with both of the new doctors that I saw, which is crazy.
Wednesday was kidney day, and that's when I got my MRI done.
Yeah.
Too.
What did they find for kidneys?
Nothing.
Okay. I was like, generally. Nothing is ever found.
No, well, I have to see specialists now, so.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Great. Fun. Fucking lovely.
Yeah.
Yep. But it was one of those weeks where like it shouldn't have felt the way it felt, and it felt that way for like everybody.
Right.
Everybody was going through something. It was just awful.
There was a miasma of shit.
Of shit. Straight shit. Okay. Well, on that happy note, let's dive into our topics for today.
Let's. Shallots, everybody.
Shallots. Find them in the dark and eat them.
Where do you want to start?
Stars, right?
Yeah, stars, but do you want to go in order?
Sure.
Okay, so this one's based on a comment that Jen was reading. It's about an EDSer who's new to the diagnosis, is having a hard time explaining it to other people. Like, how do you explain quickly to somebody that you have this condition? Like, how do you word it? It's hard.
Well, and it's kind of like what we talked about with Bug, right? Yeah. Where you have to kind of sneak things in, because if you walk up to somebody and you're like, hi, here's all of my diagnoses, they're going to look at you and be like, holy shit, you're a hot mess, or you're a giant like drama suck.
Yeah.
Right? Those are the like first impressions if you walk up and you're just like, here's all my stuff.
Well, let's say like start with like family.
Yeah.
Even then, I don't think I would unload all of it.
Well, in my family, like early days when I was doing the shoulder, they didn't quite understand what was going on until after the shoulder was done. And I explained like what they did to the shoulder.
Yeah. And
they were like, oh, wow, that was like a lot of damage. I was like, yeah, that's what's happening. And so and it's different too, because your family might watch you evolve or devolve.
Yeah. As
you go.
Well, and depending on how well you masked it, it could be a shock.
Right.
Like if you're really good at hiding it, like most people are.
Yeah.
They're going to assume that you're suddenly all like really bad, but it's not sudden. It's been a progression.
Well, and that's the hard part to explain, where you're like, this is not new.
Yeah. It's
the same thing it's always been. It's just harder today.
I had that problem with my friends, like when we were going through it, because they would be like, oh, wow, Chris is just, he's so sickly.
Yeah.
It wasn't sickly. I was in pain, so I wasn't participating in game nights and stuff anymore.
Well, and I think that goes with like looking normal one day and not the other.
Oh, yeah.
Or vice versa, when you have a really bad day and someone witnesses that and they're like, fine. Oh my God, what? Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, this is horrible. And then the next day you're like, la, la, la. That's fine. Because that's how this works, unfortunately. But yeah, no, definitely. I think it goes hand in hand with that. But yeah, and a family is interesting. especially like, I don't know, because we don't have a great like basis for understanding how families should work,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I have one example.
Mhm.
My mom,
Okay.
and because her perception of it was that I wasn't nearly as bad off as I was. Because
Right.
growing up, it was growing pains, or I would just kind of blow it off.
Yeah.
And I never talked about like the stomach issues I
Mhm.
had. I was like,
Well, we thought everything was normal.
right, or that I just couldn't handle being normal.
Yeah.
That was my biggest one. Like, oh, it's not normal to like not use the restroom for 3 days and then suddenly go, oh,
Yeah.
who knew? I didn't
Right.
know. Or like headaches, or
Yeah.
dislocations, near dislocations all
Mhm.
the time.
Locking knees.
Right, she didn't know about all that.
Right.
So as it was getting worse, like there's this thing that's wrong with me, she kind of followed along.
Yeah.
But when we had the real diagnosis, I was able to sit down and explain it to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to part it out.
Yeah.
It's like you're saying. I had to start with it's a connective tissue disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's that mean? Can't
Yeah.
you just take collagen? That's always the response. It's like, no, you can't just take collagen. Your body's making bad collagen.
Mm-hmm.
If you take collagen, you're just gonna eat it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Your body doesn't
do
repurpose
anything with it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's like I went to explain to my kids because they asked about the condition.
Oh yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah. And so for my students, generally I start with it's a connective tissue disorder. And I always just demo for people. I'm like, this is what this means.
Yeah, like that it's part of your script. Is
Yes. I'm like, it's a connective tissue disorder, which means I'm hypermobile, but that causes my joints to dislocate and a lot of other things. And so I start there. And then if there's more curiosity,
then
I
you
can
can
give more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's, I think, a good approach.
Yeah. And then some of them did. Some of them were like, so what else? Like, what else
Yeah.
does this do? And I was like, well, sometimes I have a hard time with my autonomic nervous system.
Ooh,
It
what's
doesn't
that mean?
work very well.
Yeah.
And so I can struggle with my body temperature and my heart rate. And sometimes I faint.
And sometimes I go down.
Yeah.
The way you were demoing it, we need to make you a little pamphlet so you can do it like an airline stewardess. Be like, as you can see, it is a connective tissue disorder, and you're doing every joint, like all of your biting.
Yes.
If you look towards the bottom of my knees, they will hyperextend.
Notice how I can stand on the sides of my feet.
In case of an emergency, I'm going on the floor.
Please do not call an ambulance. I told a kid, I was potsy because I was tacky earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, yeah, that's what it was on Monday. I was tachycardic all day.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing I did helped. I was just miserable all day. And that was like the build to the really bad episode at night. But yeah, no, I was at work and I was feeling tacky and I wasn't feeling good. And so I like sat on the floor and one of the kids was like, what the fuck? And my coworker walks in. She goes, oh yeah, sometimes she faints. And I was like, yeah, you can just point and laugh. And she was like, don't point and laugh, but also just leave her alone. It's fine. I was like,
It's all good.
Yes.
That was a good response.
Yeah. Because she gets it. Like, it's fine. She'll every morning she's like, how's Karen treating you today? And I'm like, she's a bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck Karen. That asshole. So yeah, Tuesday I went into work and I was just so sore from the episode. So bad. But yeah, no, I think when you go to explain it to people, you have to chunk it out. You have to like
What's
pieces.
the easiest way to present it? Because I feel like if you say it's a hypermobile or that I have connective tissue disorder, like that kind of gets lost as jargon.
Right.
Is there an easier way to present it? Be like, because I don't want to be like, oh, I'm just super flexible.
Right. Because that's not what that is.
Right.
Yeah.
But I guess you kind of have to present some of the symptoms
Mm-hmm.
if you present it that way.
Yeah. I don't know. It's also a matter of like what you feel comfortable giving out.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that you do not owe anybody any information whatsoever about your condition. That's up to you to disclose.
Right.
So definitely don't feel like you have to disclose stuff, but it can be a really helpful tool.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. Because usually I just say it's a connective tissue disorder that causes my joints to dislocate and a bunch of other problems.
Yeah. I mean,
that's like my shorthand.
concise. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And
I
then
think
if
that's the
something
best
like
way.
specific is going on, I can be like, my mast cell activation is acting up.
Right. So you can add it on
Right.
as it's being viewed.
Mhm.
That's probably
Or,
the
like-
best way.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to understand by viewing.
Yeah.
So, your mast cell one day, you can
Mhm.
be like, oh, look, this is what it is.
Yeah.
If they're curious, or if you're, can't work for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I get it. I like that.
Yeah. But I think it also means that you would have to stop masking so much.
Yeah, you have to kind of.
you have to let some of it through and let some of it be like visible.
As far as the
people.
comment's concerned, it sounds like she wants to be able to just explain it
Right.
quickly, like
Yeah.
to people she cares about.
Mhm.
But yeah, you want to. It is going to be hard if you're really good at masking. You don't want to
Yeah.
be like.
Right.
I had that problem with my friend group really because I was trying to hide it for so long.
Mhm.
They knew I had a shoulder problem, and that
Mhm.
was about it.
Yeah.
I didn't talk about anything else until like we were researching it. Like, oh, I have these problems that I didn't realize were normal, and this
Yeah.
problem I didn't know was normal.
Well, and that's the problem, because it's like so many people are like, "Oh, you have this new problem," and you're like, "No, it's not new."
I'm just noticing it, I guess.
Or I'm
explaining
just
it.
explaining it now, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think what things kind of you keep to yourself. Like the stomach issues, I don't disclose a whole lot.
Yeah.
Just because it's not super relevant to what is going on. But when I do, people are always like, "Oh wow, I didn't know that was part of the same thing."
Yeah.
I was like,
Or
"Yeah."
teeth. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no reason to bring that up
right.
unless you're having tooth problems.
Right.
And they're like, wow, what's wrong with you?
Right.
I got bad teeth.
Yes. Yeah, lots of that. Yeah, I don't know. Cuz generally I'm pretty forthcoming, but I also just do it in short spurts
Right.
as I go.
Yeah, you don't make it a thing that you bring up all the time.
Yeah. And the people who know me well know more because I'm happier to disclose
Yeah.
more. But again, like that's entirely up to you what you want to give out and how you want to give it out. And because that's the thing, is that we always are, it's horrible and we shouldn't have to, but we're always faced with some kind of disbelief.
Right.
Somewhere along the line, you're gonna meet it and it's not fun.
Yeah, no shit.
So be careful what you're disclosing and to whom you're disclosing. Like, defend your space, man. That's
No,
just
that's a
how I
good
feel
point.
about it. Yeah.
Because
Because you don't want it to be something that people like A, use against you, or B, use to like talk shit
right.
about your like work performance or how you interact with people or right?
Right.
So
No, that's a good point.
be careful.
Kinda keep
who you
it chill.
talk to. Mm-hmm.
Just, I have this thing.
Yeah, exactly. I try to make sure that like it's not touching the emotionality
Yeah.
when I give out information.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a complicated thing.
Bitches be crazy.
They are.
I'm just saying.
There's lots of
Chen's
crazy
worked
people.
with some crazy people before.
Yeah. Well, and people who will tell you like flat out to your face that you're faking.
Oh, yeah.
That happens. We come against it a lot, especially in the medical community.
The best is when they do it behind your back, though.
Yeah.
When
They go and tell your like friend group that you're crazy. And
Yeah.
You're just doing it for attention. Yeah.
Yep.
Fun times.
Thankfully, I haven't had that in the friend groups so much. Like people I know, I guess.
I had it a little
Like
bit in high school,
acquaintances.
but I didn't care because they weren't people I was close with.
Right, exactly.
So I was always just like,
Whatevs.
because that was the time of the migraine.
Oh, yeah.
And those were terrible. And I would get them at school and I was literally just laid out so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's keep it close to your chest, but also maybe compartmentalize the
Right.
emotional part out of it.
And if it's a matter of not understanding what it is,
Mm-hmm.
'cause there are a lot of people that don't understand what EDS is and they have
Mhm.
it.
Right.
I was raging earlier.
our
I was
newbies.
watching a TikToker who was like, I have EDS. It's an autoimmune disease. It's like, it's
no,
not
it's not.
autoimmune.
No, it's not.
It's not. Your body is not attacking itself.
No.
Autoimmune is when your immune system decides that you are the enemy and it
Right.
kills you.
Well, and mast cell could be autoimmune, technically.
Right.
But that's only one teeny tiny part of what happens under the
Well, mast
EDS
cell
umbrella.
activation is its own
Yeah.
diagnosis.
Right.
Like people can have it on their own without EDS and all that. So
Right.
that would be autoimmune in my mind.
Yeah.
But having it, EDS isn't autoimmune. It's just bad collagen production.
Right. Well, and they call it the unholy trinity.
Right.
Where you have EDS, and then you have POTS, and then you have MCAS.
Yeah.
So they do go kind of hand in hand. And that's why, like, I make sure that I label things correctly as I'm giving out information.
Yeah.
But yeah, as like a brand new newbie.
Right. If you don't understand it, your body's making bad collagen, which affects everything.
Right. Because if you think about collagen, it's everywhere. It is literally the stuff that holds your body together.
Yeah.
And ours doesn't work so good.
The other thing was that a girl, I think she was exaggerating, but the way she worded it is that her body makes zero collagen.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's got to be an exaggeration.
It's not that we're making, it's not a shortage of collagen.
Right.
It's just faulty collagen. It's collagen that don't work so good. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, I even heard, what was it, Dr. Mike? I think we talked about that before, where he totally misrepresented and then had to go back and make like an apology video. But I see that happen all the time.
Yeah.
Where if you ask a question about EDS, a lot of doctors, they just like slip over it. It's ridiculous. They're like, oh yeah, that's a thing, but we don't need to talk about it. And you're like, but we do. We do need to talk about it. Why don't you admit that you don't know what you're talking about and maybe go research it and then come back? Because we do. We find those doctors who are like, oh, I sat through a seminar on that like 17 years ago.
Yeah. And what they walked away with was stretchy skin and flexible joints, not all the fun.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking it's kind of what started my thought process last week was representation in media. Yeah. Like that's part of it. The awareness level of EDS is so low that it's not like when you watch like any of the doctor shows. Yeah. I've seen one thing on it and it was just brought up in passing and like, Dr. House. Right. It's like, oh, you have EDS.
POTS has more representation than we do.
I remember when celiac disease was becoming the thing people were learning about. But like I've watched it go from people knowing nothing to being like, oh, it's a gluten intolerance. I get it. Like, because I worked at that bakery, Debbie's, so it was a big deal when people were starting to talk about it. Right. And I feel like that's what we need. We need to get out there. Yeah. And be like, hey, put us in TV.
Yeah, really.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. Because that's the thing is like, I've seen POTS represented, but I've never seen like EDS represented beyond. There's like one, I think I don't know. It was a snippet from a TV show. I don't remember what TV show, but the girl, they thought she was like anorexic and a drug addict or like an alcoholic because she came in and was like, I just need fluids. And then the doctor like grabs her and her shoulder dislocates and she puts it back herself. Yeah. And so I've seen like that, but also not quite.
It's not a sexy disease either. It's not.
Right. No.
Especially when you're like, imagine like a writer coming across it being like, oh, it just means you're stretchy. No. There's a lot to it. And I mean, yeah. If doctors don't casually know about it, like they should, then it's
well, and that's the problem is that it just continues the cycle of being underdiagnosed. Yeah. And that's the thing is that again, we're not rare. We exist. Yeah. There's a lot of us, but some of us don't know we exist.
This next one. Oh boy. Oh boy. It fits well with newbie guide kind of stuff. There was a lady who was upset. She's at the upset phase of everything where just the stupidity bothers you or being told certain things. So she asked how to calmly reply to people saying, oh, I hope you get well soon or feel better. Yeah. I remember that phase where be like, can you just not? I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the wishing a cure on us.
Oh God, yes.
Ugh. And that's exhausting. Let me just say, like, I hate it. I hate it when people are like, well, I hope they find a cure someday. And I'm like, guys, what? There is no cure. You can't fix it. Right. It just is. Please stop like wishing it away because that's not productive and it doesn't help me. It helped like it's.
You don't want them to think that there's a chance of it getting better.
Yeah.
Like they have this conception that, oh, it's, we could treat it.
Well, and it's also that like day by day thing.
Yeah.
Where like you can look totally normal one day and then not at all the next. So it's complex. And when you don't have like that background knowledge, it's easy to be like, well, he was fine yesterday.
Right.
Or like, oh, I thought you were really sick. What are you doing out today? But then you also get the like, oh man, I'm sorry you're feeling so down. Let me
Mm-hmm.
let me get in your space here and touch you on your body. Are you okay?
Oh, I hate that. The proper response for me is always, oh, I'm not gonna. I'm just, if they say, I hope you feel better, you can be like, oh, okay, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope I have a good day. That'd be nice.
Right.
But if you're like, I hope you get better soon or get well soon, I hope
Right.
that, I'd just be like, it won't.
Yeah.
But then you sound like a downer, like you don't have
Right,
the optimism, but it's more of a,
But it's a protective measure for us.
right.
I'm like, stop wishing your weird false hope on me. Like it's disruptive to my system already.
Well, and since it's a degenerative disease,
Mm-hmm.
people need to understand that it's a long term, not
Yeah.
he just has to wait till he gets cured.
Right.
I had that problem with my mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't understand for a while that it was a permanent thing
Yeah.
and it gets worse.
Right.
She thought that I could take vitamins and that would cure it. She thought they would cure me with vitamins.
My in-laws are still, it's interesting because my mother-in-law is like coming to grips with everything because she's been dealing with that concussion.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it still surprises them how bad things can get and how bad things can be. But
Can't wait till winter.
yeah,
The podcast in the winter is going to be salty.
we're going to be very sad panda.
Dude, I'm going to be in pain. I'm either going to be like livid because of just everything in general or
Yeah.
drained.
Right. Winter's not nice to us at all.
No.
But then again, summer's not been kind either. It's just warm.
My summer's been better than last summer.
That's good. I think
I didn't
don't
get a
know.
summer last year because of surgery, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's fair actually. I've had surgeries the last 2 summers.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. That makes sense. But yeah, no, how do you respond when people are like,
I mean, you could
let me
just
wish this cure on you?
stomach it, but that's not gonna, you're gonna build that up. You know what I
Right.
mean? If you're just like, yeah, okay. It depends on who it is.
Yeah.
If it's someone close to you and you need them to understand
Yeah.
it's long term, then you need to correct them.
Right.
But if
Well,
it's
and
somebody
have
in
a
passing, like,
conversation.
yeah. But if it's like as they're leaving kind of a thing,
Right.
like, oh, I hope you get better. It'd be like, I won't. Don't worry about it.
It's not going to happen.
Otherwise, I'd probably just be like, yep. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think there's part of me that ignores it. And
Yeah.
then the other part of me is like,
Really wants to.
I have to bring the morbid humor into it because I know it makes those people uncomfortable. And my
Yeah.
brain's like, here, strike back by making them feel weird. So when people are like, oh, I hope you get better. And I'm like, it's not going to happen. Only gets worse until I die. And
You
then
really
they're
are
like,
a sassy bad guy.
oh my God, what the fuck? Sassy bad guy.
Sassy
There you
bad
go.
guy.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's how that works. Like, I don't have time for your nonsense. So I'm going to make you feel weird because you make me feel weird. Okay. So the next one that we've got is kind of near and dear to both of us.
Yeah.
Is the judgment that we get, or even, not even just EDS, but people with disabilities or chronic illnesses. And they judge us based on our treatment options.
Yeah. This was a TikTok I saw by Undiagnosed Bean,
Mm-hmm.
an EDS TikToker, who was basically laughing at people who were making fun of her for having those treatment options.
Right.
She was laughing at the haters.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a good subject, though.
Yeah. Well, because what are our options, really? Generally, when you look it up online, they're like, can be treated with PT and surgery.
Yeah.
Those are our options, essentially, right? But then you dig a little deeper, and then you have to think about the pain management side of
Mhm.
things. So you've got PT, you've got surgery, and you've got pain control.
Right.
Sometimes, if you're me, you get kicked out of PT a lot because they don't know what to do with you.
I like going to PT because of that. Like, I go in and I do the thing, and they're like, I'll see you next week. And then when I don't show up, they're like, it's fine. You know what you're doing. You have the bands at home. Like,
Right. Well, that was the thing. Like, the pain team a while back. They were like, you need to be doing PT and like keeping up with it. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna.
Nah,
Because I'm not
suck it.
paying $30 every few weeks to go in and have them go, I don't know why you're here. You're doing everything right.
Right. Well, that's the thing. For on my insurance, I get like 6 visits.
Oh, that's nice.
So I get 6 post-op visits to do. Or if it gets approved as like a doctor recommendation, I get 6 visits.
Nice.
And then after that, they're done. Like they're pretty clear about it. They're
Yeah.
like, you got to time them right. You're going to need this much.
Yep.
But then, so you have PT
Mm-hmm.
and then pain
Well,
management
and-
in general, which is just its own
Yeah.
topic.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's surgery.
Well, and PT doesn't just have to be PT. Like, what you're after with PT is stability training
Yeah.
and strengthening of those muscles that hold those joints together. That's what you should be looking at. So not strictly PT, but generally that's what you...
Well, and there's
what
also
we're
building
told.
up the correct muscles, like
Yes.
with stability. It's
Well, and using the forms correctly.
right. That's what I was
Which is
getting
the
at.
problem. Yeah.
Is that you've got to learn the proper way to move.
And the proper muscles.
Exactly.
Because
Like,
our proprioception is not great.
no. And you've learned to compensate, like if you're moving in reality.
Yeah. Well, and we cheat constantly.
Exactly.
We're like, I'm not using the correct muscles for any of this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that PT piece. And then you've got surgery, which, I don't know, the judgment for that is usually people are like, oh my God,
Yeah.
it must be so dire. Like, oh, you had all these surgeries.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like we were saying in between,
Mhm.
like it can be like some people, one surgery is enough to just like alter the course of their lives.
Right.
Where like they let it, I don't know if they let it or if it actually becomes a problem where they
Right.
can't, they like guard it, or it's like, I can't do
Yeah.
this because
or
I
like
had this.
baby it.
Right.
Yeah.
Where we were like, we've gone through all the surgeries and then we're still like nothing's changed.
Yeah.
In fact, I've gotten more mobility. So like
Yeah.
things have improved
Right.
and it wasn't a horrible ordeal.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it also, that part specifically, I think has a lot to do with how you manage pain. So if you're a person who is like afraid of the pain, it's going to be harder
Mm-hmm.
because like moving the way that we do, and the reason we like get booted from PT early is because we are moving earlier than other people do,
Right.
and we're moving more than other people do. So if you're someone who's afraid of the pain, you're not going to be doing as much movement and activity with that surgery, right? So yeah, I think it has a lot to do with how you interpret or handle pain and what your relationship to pain is like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. You just don't want people to fear it. Like,
Yeah.
surgery is a big deal, but it's only a big deal as much as you let it.
Right.
Like you said, we've had a lot of surgeries between us. We're like, you're at
It's
4?
like 9, 3.
Yeah, and I'm at 5. I think.
Yeah, it's like 8. 8
6.
between.
I'm at 6.
Yeah, I thought it was 6. Okay.
Yeah.
So 9
Well,
surgeries between the two of us.
And I had one major surgery,
Mhm.
and I've recovered from that.
Yeah.
Like it's sore, but it hasn't become this big life-changing.
Right. Well, and
deal.
I think like the more educated you are on your own anatomy, the easier time you're going to have trying to recover from those surgeries and knowing like I need to be moving in order to maintain that mobility, but these are the movements I can't be doing. And then like ice when you're supposed to ice, do that. That helps a lot. But yeah, it's interesting because if you tell people, oh yeah, I need surgery for whatever, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to sleep for 3 hours and they're going to fuck around in my body somewhere.
So I guess it depends on what aspect of treatment you're going for. Like
Yeah.
we know a lot of EDSers who are doing more of the physical stuff now, trying to keep them in shape to keep moving and
Yeah.
building up the right stuff. So that would be, I mean, there's no judgment there. You just
Yeah.
you have to tell people you have to exercise.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the most acceptable answer
Mhm.
people expect. But then when you get into like surgery,
Right.
then they think it's dire
Uh-huh.
because you've had work done.
Yeah.
So you have this sympathy or I mean it could work in your favor if you need the attention.
Yeah.
Like if you're somebody who wants to kind of change your life into the thing, like,
Yeah.
oh, I've had this surgery, and I've,
Right.
you know, like, oh, I can't do that, I've had this surgery.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
And then there's the pain med, which I feel like no matter what you do for pain medication,
Yeah.
you're judged.
There's
You're gonna get it from
massive
people you know,
stigma.
your family, doctors.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine a situation where someone's like, oh yeah, I get it, yeah, take your brain meds.
Yeah. No, never. If you tell people you have pain medication, you're automatically assumed to be.
Or if it's someone you know and they're accepting of it, they're gonna assume it's, again, dire.
Right.
You're on pain meds. Oh, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out the angle she was going for,
Mhm.
and I can't tell if it was between people giving her unwanted sympathy or people judging her because she needs.
There's a lot of both.
Right.
Yeah. And I think the unwanted sympathy, and it's never sympathy. Let's clear that out, because
Right.
it's not sympathy, it's pity.
Yeah.
And it's pity that tastes just so bad to us, and we just are so bitter against it that when that comes our way, we tend to snap. We snap back.
Yeah. These are the people that will overwork themselves because of how much they hate the inability to keep up.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna start calling these people out
Yeah.
for
Well, it's like what we talked about last week, that whole like, no, we don't want to stop moving.
Yeah.
Because then it's harder. Like, no, we're going to keep going. But yeah. And
No
then
joke.
let's talk about what happens when you are seeing a doctor and they're looking through your medication
Oh my
list.
God. I go through this so often because, like, you're in Kaiser, so it's,
Yeah.
you know, new people will see it, but you know what I mean? It's all
Mhm.
within house, so I think it's more understood that it's being
Mm-hmm.
handled correctly. Whereas every time I go see a new doctor or I'm up revisiting someone I haven't seen in a while,
Yeah.
it's a matter of I've seen it. They look at it, and depending on their opinion on pain management,
Mhm.
they're either going to be like, okay, so it's bad for you, or they're going to be like, I don't think you're being treated correctly. I'm going to change, like, I'm going to try and fix this other stuff so
Yeah.
that you can't take pain meds anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and it's weird because some people treat it like this, like, I don't know, like it should be temporary.
Right. Well, because it normally would be temporary.
Yes. And that's the thing. That's the really difficult part about EDS versus what you normally go for in pain management,
Yeah.
right? Pain management is full of people who have like one injury, right? One chronic pain that's the same and
Mhm.
predictable and might have answers through surgery and PT,
Yeah.
right? For us, it's never the same pain and it's never going to stop.
Right. I'm having trouble trying to get my brain ready for meeting my new pain management doctor because I have to think of
When are
all
you going?
the things.
I should just go with you.
I could take you with.
when is that?
3 weeks.
Okay.
It'll be 2 weeks from Monday. So
Oh, okay.
it's not that far because
Nice.
yours is the week before mine.
Yeah.
I'd take you with.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
go.
down. You'll just have to drive me.
I'll take like a half day. We can do it.
So
Yeah.
it's in the morning.
That's easy because I don't have kids in the morning.
Oh, good.
I'm good because I cover third and fourth,
Right.
and then advisory. So beyond that, yeah, no, we should be fine.
Yeah. It'll be interesting though
Yeah.
because we don't know her knowledge first off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to educate, but
Yeah.
then also going over the list of all the problems and making sure I get everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was the thing. Like I get so mad at myself after appointments because I'm like, shoot, I forgot to mention the thing.
Yeah.
And with neuro, it was the internal tremor that I forgot to mention. And I was
Right.
like, dang it, that one. But he seems pretty on top of things and like ready to treat me how I need to be treated
Right.
and work with me, which is so important to me because I'm like, hi, I live in it. It's my body.
Exactly.
Please, can I have a say in what's happening?
Mhm. Yeah. So we'll see. I was just thinking about this. It'd be interesting if I got judged at pain management for being in pain management. Like, what if she's a Fatima?
Fatima. Oh, you take drugs? Oh, you bad.
Yeah, the place that you're working at gave them to me. They told me to take them so that I could
No.
function. You've seen my levels. You know I'm not
It's just
dying.
so dumb. Well, and it bothers me so bad because how long have we been doing this? A long
I've been on
time.
constant pain medication since. God, I want to say.
It's been a long time.
2015?
So 6 years?
Maybe longer. It would have been when Rory was born. So wow.
Yeah.
7 years.
7 years ago. Holy
Whew.
cow. But right, like, and I've been doing this since before Kaiser, so it's probably 2015, 16, 17. So yeah. And it's just, it bothers me that they're like, there's always this like panicky thing that they do where they're like, oh, you're going to get addicted. You're like, dude, how long have we been doing this? Am I addicted? No.
One of the reasons I love my primary is that she'll tell you how it is straight up, right? Like, so I have really bad cholesterol right now. Well, I'm fixing it.
Yeah.
It's getting better. But she'll call you out on it, right? So she called me up and she's like, it's atrocious. You need to get that fixed. It's like, cool. But when I was seeing her, like maybe a couple of years ago, for some reason I went in and I was like, oh, it was when I had Fatima. I went to her to see if she could help. And she was like, no, I mean, you're probably already like dependent. But she chose the word dependent.
Yes.
She didn't say addicted. She's like, your body's probably already dependent.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. I was like, distinction.
Yes. There is a huge difference between dependent, chemically dependent, and addiction. Like,
Right.
they're not the same thing at all.
Well, my dependency isn't that bad. If I go, like...
You withdraw and then you're fine.
I have withdrawals for like a day.
Yeah.
Which is not fair to other
It's
people.
not fun either.
No.
But
I feel bad because most people take a longer time.
yeah.
And then once I'm over that, it doesn't affect me anymore. I don't have cravings for the medication. I don't have a need. Like if I have a bad pain day, I'll be like, God, I wish I had my pain meds.
But here's the thing. They've also installed a major fear of it into us.
Yeah.
Because constantly we're like, oh, am I going to get addicted?
Oh, yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly. I'm like...
You feel guilty. When I
Yes.
first started, it was a lot of guilt about
'cause you're
taking
like,
pain meds.
I shouldn't be doing this. It's like, this is how people die. Blah,
Well, and
blah,
I couldn't talk about it. God
Yeah.
forbid I mention it to somebody.
Right. 'Cause
Especially
the
like
war on drugs.
my
Is
friends.
a thing.
Right. Or people that are those people that
Yeah.
are undermining your life and you don't know it. Like,
Ugh.
they're on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know?
Oh my gosh, what was it? So we're honesty time here. We're both chronic like face pickers. We like to pick at our skin,
That's why I
and
have a
have
beard.
been since like childhood.
Yeah.
And somebody told you that one time that face picking is a symptom of your addiction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, yeah.
I won't call out who it was, but
Yep.
that was a thing that
I
happened
had someone pulled me aside and
Yeah.
it suggested I was addicted because I had
because you had been picking at your face.
I had a giant pimple. Like it was not like I dug a hole in my face. I popped a giant zit.
Yeah. We're chronic face pickers. We're like, oh, if it's there, I'm gonna play with it.
It's an ADD
just-
thing too.
Exactly.
Face picking's
It's just a stim.
yeah.
So yeah, that happened. And that was
Yeah.
someone close to you too.
Yeah. No, I remember that. It took me a second.
Like,
It was like
inner circle
oh,
shit. Yeah. So icky.
And that's just because I take pain meds.
Right.
But I manage it. It can be done and managed.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to become this out of control thing, especially if you go into it and you're worried about it.
Right.
Like, I don't want people to start pain meds and then have it ruin their lives because there are people
Right.
with addictive personalities.
Well, and that's the thing is like you have to be able to self-monitor
Yeah.
enough to know what's going on with you.
Right.
And then if there's a problem, you need to be communicative about what that problem is with your team.
I'm
Because-
really bad at that still.
Yeah, you will just take a drug that you hate and is hurting you forever.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, if I stop, they'll not like me anymore.
No, it's more of a either I'm trying to give it more time. Like they'll suggest, oh, try it longer. I'm like, okay, because I want to explore every option.
Yeah.
That way we can rule things out.
Right.
Like permanently rule them out, not
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
oh, I tried it once
know,
for a little
like-
bit.
Prednisone.
Yeah. Or what was there was a thought I had and it lost me. Oh, I'll just not take meds too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'll just fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. There have been times where they're like, I'm going to prescribe you this thing. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
I'm good. Thank you. No, it's fine. It's fine. But it's not like we've not tried other things too.
Right.
Like Apothecana, great tool
Yes.
that we use continually.
I love it.
It's great. And it works well.
Oh, we need to get more of that for Jen.
And yeah, and like a hot bath or like we have coping
I have a
skills
special tub for it.
outside
Yeah.
of the pain medication. And that's what I have to explain to people is as soon as they hear
They assume
that I'm on pain medication, I
Yeah.
have to turn them around and go, it's 20 doses over 2 months.
Yeah.
I'm not on a lot of meds. And that was the frustrating part because other people will see that
Yeah.
and they will blame your medication for symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, and most people's understanding of it is that time that they got Percocet when they had their teeth removed.
Right.
So they're like, ooh, 5s or 3.25s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when they hear that you're on something higher than that and that you take it daily,
right,
they're oh, that's a lot. But then you talk about real pain management for people who are in real pain. We're talking like 4 times a day, 80 milligrams of whatever.
Right. Well, and they tried to give you like fentanyl before. And,
ugh. That's my favorite, just telling people, oh yeah, I've tried fentanyl.
I've tried that one. No, thank you.
Yeah, can't do it.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I made a point to try the hydrocodone again.
Yeah.
So that they would stop trying to give it to me. Because I'm like, it doesn't work, guys.
Right.
It doesn't do anything at all. And it still made me itchy. Because I was like, this stuff's making me itchy. And they were like, here.
That was the other thing. When the face picking thing, part of it was that it was assumed that I had done it because I was itchy, which is a side effect. Because this person had family who was taking meds and had similar experiences. And you know what I mean? Yeah. It was just...
Well, and that's the thing is like, we know addiction isn't just chemical.
Yeah.
And it's not primarily chemical either. So we're fine.
Well, that's the point of therapy and everything. Yeah. You don't want to use it as your coping, like your mental coping. You don't want to be like, oh, I'm having a bad emotional day. Let me take a fucking Percocet.
Right. No.
Yeah, then you become dependent on it because you're mentally sucked into this.
Well, and that's the other thing is like we've laid out these tiers of care.
Yeah.
But therapy is another great one.
I use the crap out of my therapist.
Do it.
And my psychologist.
Yeah.
Even though he's a weirdo.
There you go.
I see him in like 2 weeks. I'm excited.
Nice.
I want to know what random subject he walks into the room with.
Abraham Lincoln.
Joe Rogan.
So weird.
Did you know? Did you know that Elon Musk has to talk down to people? He's just so smart.
He's just very autistic is all.
It's like, yes, I get it.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
Oh man. But yeah, no. You will face judgment. But try not to internalize because only you know what's going on with you.
No joke.
At the end of the day. Yeah, I think we're in a good spot to go on break.
I don't want to go on break.
No, you want to keep going? You keep going.
No, this is a perfect time for break.
All right. We'll see you guys in a little bit. You know what to do. You need to drink your water.
Take your meds.
Have a snack.
Yeah, eat your food. Get some sunlight.
Yep.
Or take a nap.
Discord.
Join the Discord. Always. Link is in the description.
Like, comment, and share because we like to hear from you guys.
Our YouTube commenters should join the Discord because there's a lot of conversation that happens. It's really good. So
yeah, lots of commiserating that like things we didn't even know were related.
Yeah,
where we're like, oh my god, I have that too. So yeah, it's great fun. Do that, and we'll see you in a minute. Bye.
Welcome back. How was your break? Mine? Pretty good. I don't know about Karina though.
It was fine until now.
We had to come back. I'm sorry.
He just waits until I'm like completely distracted and then he's like, oh, we're back. And I'm like, what? Where am I?
I don't do that. She's making it up.
He's gaslighting me.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not.
Just not even looking. No, she's wrong. I would never.
It's opposite day.
Right.
Hopefully you did the things that you were supposed to do.
Yes. I really hope that you did.
Because we're going into the silly half.
Yeah, time for the loose non sequiturs.
Yes. So we've got some like mini topics.
Yeah. Comments that we saw that we thought were interesting or anecdotes.
Or things you learned from neurologist?
Yeah, neurologist. Yeah. Anesthesiologist.
Oh, yeah.
So we can start there. We've talked about it before, how we burn through anesthesia.
Yeah.
Like local numbing especially. Yeah. And we're like, we tell them, we warn them ahead of time because it'll wear off. And like
then you will be sad.
Especially with teeth stuff. Like I've felt one root canal, I felt all of it. And then when they were ripping my teeth out, This last time I felt the second half when they got the last 2 roots.
Yeah. Well, and I just had 3 fillings done, and I felt 2 of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you get to the point where it's like it'd be a waste of time to renumb it.
Yeah.
Because my whole face will go numb.
Right. And then that same thing I'll still feel it.
Yeah.
But the rest of me, I won't be able to blink by the end of it.
But apparently it's known, at least for anesthesiologists who know about EDS. They know it as a problem that we're hard to numb and to keep sedated. Yeah,
we're a little tricky. And I tell people, I'm like, we do one of 2 things. We either burn through it at the speed of light.
Or don't.
Or we don't at all.
Right. And there's no rhyme or reason to what triggers it or...
Nope.
It's just, okay.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even like, I don't know, I woke up during the endoscopy.
Yeah.
That was fun. And I know I've woken up at least one other time in surgery.
I'm pretty sure I have too.
Yeah.
And I think I woke up during my spinal surgery.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah. I didn't feel anything, but I remember being upset that I couldn't open my eyes because they had to tape them with the gauze and everything because it was a long procedure. But yeah.
Yeah.
That I didn't know it was a known thing. It was more anecdotal to me before, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I now know it's real.
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, when I talked to genetics way back when, I would mention those kind of things. And the same thing for, like, medications. We burn through medication at the speed of light, or we
not at all.
Don't process it at all. And so I was asking, because I was like, is that part of EDS? And she was like, well, it's not a clinical symptom, but it is well known among the disorders.
Right.
So, yes.
There was another one on here that was like that, isn't there?
The choking, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was just common.
Yeah.
I thought everybody choked. All the time.
Well, and you were supposed to do an ultrasound for your issue. So you'll have to reschedule that thing.
And I think we've rescheduled it, but I'm not sure.
We'll have to see. It'll be interesting to know what's going on.
It'll be interesting to get my throat ultrasounded. Like,
right?
Just shove it down in there, I guess.
Yeah. Because I've had, like, swallowing studies done. And they're like, nothing.
Yeah, but they don't want to do a study. She's looking for something else. Oh. So I don't know. I don't know what it is.
That's weird. We're also kind of prone to vocal cord dysfunction.
Yeah.
That's the other one that can affect that area.
Steak. Notebook. Jeez. The other one was the what was the other one?
Yeah. Someone asked if it was normal not to feel small pains.
Oh yeah, and we've talked about it before, but feeling the pain but not noticing it, or it's background noise.
Yeah. Well, and we were doing it outside, where we sit down on our break and we're kind of like, you do a systems check, essentially. And so you're like, what's going on in the body?
Apparently my shoulders hurt.
Sorry.
Who knew?
I just did one and my toe was dislocated. Because why not?
My thumb was fucked up.
Is it making you mad? I hate the hands. I'm getting really tired of that.
Yeah.
Anything I grasp like this, I dislocate when I put pressure. So if I'm trying to use my hand, I dislocate at the wrist. It makes me mad. It's your turn for finger pain.
Yeah, it hasn't been sitting right for like a week.
Jesus.
And every time I try and pop it, it gets close.
Did you get at the base?
Yeah, it's up here that's messed up though.
Oh, I hate that because that joint is so hard to get.
Yeah.
Especially because like normally you can take it and like twist
it. Yeah.
But if you twist this, it just keeps going.
Exactly.
There's no twist that.
Yeah.
Thumbs are dumb.
My thumb sucks. At least this week. And it hurts. And it won't sit right.
It's mean.
It's an angry little thing. Hateful little guy, aren't you?
That's how I talk to my body. I'm like, before we started this recording, I was sitting there and we're having a conversation. I stopped mid-conversation to look at my shoulder because it was twitching. And I was like, are you done?
You can see it too.
Why are we doing this? Yeah, and it just crawls. It's weird. Or it like flexes in different places.
Right.
And it's all rhythmic and stupid. But I know what it is, so.
Hey, progress.
Yeah. But yes, so with smaller pains, generally we're really good at like tuning things out.
Yeah.
Because if you felt every pain that your body was going through all at once, I don't think you could function.
Right. If you're always noticing it.
Right. Well, and like one thing on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. So generally what happens is that you have like one predominant pain, one or two.
Yeah, you have to pick one.
Yeah. And those are like forefront, and everything else kind of stacks behind.
Yeah, exactly.
And the smaller the pain, or like the duller the pain, the further back it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do, like, and this is why I have such a problem with like going to bed, is because I will run all day long so that I don't have to like think about it. I'm like, stay busy,
Yeah.
momentum. And then by the end of the night, systems check comes on and all of my lights are blinking.
I do the same thing. Like, especially since I've been active, like I've been up and about and doing things, and then at night Jen will get home and then I'll lay down and be like,
oh,
ow. She's like, which is it? And then I have to go through the list. I'm like, apparently I didn't realize this, but my rib hurts.
Yeah.
It did. That's why I made a face a minute ago. It's like, ow, what the was that? Why? I'm not moving. You just want to slide out
For fun and me time.
Yeah.
There you go.
I hate it.
It's stupid.
Thanks.
Bodies are dumb. They're terrible.
We should rethink this. Revisit it later. Come back to maybe we just stop with bodies and then come back with a new plan.
This is not it.
Not when they make them like this.
No. Oh god. Oh, your capillaries. That was an interesting one too.
Yeah. I don't know how to really dive into it. It was one of the symptoms lists. Someone was talking about capillary refill.
That's so funny.
And I was like, oh, that explains my hands that are always
white
splotchy.
Splotchy, yeah.
Like, even without putting pressure on them, they're natively, like, there are spots that are red and spots that are white.
Yep.
And it changes.
Yeah.
That's bad capillary refill.
Which is interesting to me, because I remember, like, my circulation was always fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Always. But when I was younger, it was always blamed on, like, me being underweight.
Right.
And so now I'm like, there's nothing to blame it on.
Blame it on the alcohol.
On the alcohol?
Yeah. Blame it on the juice. Blame it on the Henny.
Blame it on the goose.
That's what it is. Blame it on the goose. Blame it on the Henny.
Yeah.
Blame it on the blue top. Got you feeling dizzy.
You're welcome. Well, and I think it makes sense because, like, I don't know, it's so interesting to me that, and this is what we were talking about earlier, collagen is absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
And impacts everything. Everything. So, I mean, it makes sense because we don't have good circulation. We have autonomic dysfunction, and we have orthostatic intolerances.
Yes, very much.
And then add on top of that, like, the muscles trying to do their job and holding things and pinching things, and it's just not great. It's not great. We lose blood flow to different things all the time.
True.
Which is why it interests me. A lot of EDSers use, like, compression stockings.
Yeah.
And I can't, because I will just flat out lose circulation in that area.
Right.
It just won't exist anymore. But I think I also manage the orthostatic piece differently. Like, we just do naturally, because we had to figure it out as kids and go, how do I not pass out all the time? And so we tend to, like, sit on parts of our legs to keep the blood flow in the top. And then when I sit down and, like, you do the double cross, the PT that I was seeing told me that that is our natural way of counteracting blood pooling. And so, yeah. So if you sit weird, there's a reason.
Well, every EDSer has a weird sit.
Yes, our postures are
weird contorted position that makes them happy.
Yeah. I don't know if the video. No, I don't think we did put the video in. But I was going to talk about the pelvic tilt.
We could do that if you want to demo it. We can do it with the microphone so you can hear you this time.
Oh yeah. I'll explain it and then we can decide if we're going to demo it.
Okay, fair.
Okay. So with the pelvic tilt, what happens is our muscles are lazy. Like, things are lazy because things are lax. So your pelvis is supposed to sit at a certain angle, right? Yeah. And that keeps your legs in line. And so what we do is we kind of dump it out the back. And so we get this forward tilt where it just kind of flops out the back. And in that, when it's tilted backwards, your legs are rotated inward.
Right.
And that can cause a lot of problems in like your knees and your ankles and obviously your hips because you're at this weird rotation all the time. And that contributes to the like walking like a cat, one foot in front of the other, I've noticed. And so if I'm walking like that, I'm like, oh, my pelvis is tilted to the back. So what happens is, this is what my trainer taught me how to do, and I'm being more mindful about it now.
Mm-hmm.
Do it like you're zipping up your pants.
Yeah.
So you tilt everything forward, you pull in like up to your belly button. So you want to take that low muscle and zip it up.
Right.
And in doing that, you may have like your ribs want to pop out. But if you can keep your ribs down, right?
Yeah, if you can keep it
it's hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
Working on your like posture is so difficult because my posture has always been with my ribs popped out. So like learning to tuck the ribs, learning to bring the shoulder blades back to the middle and down, and then having the pelvic tilt the correct way.
Right. Yeah. After you told me about it, I tried it. I was like, oh my God.
It's super weird.
It is.
And I'm like, no PT ever noticed that I walk weird.
And that's something they should check is your gait.
Right.
Like that's kind of important.
Because I do. I walk like a cat with my feet in front of each other.
Talking about not remembering or realizing pain, you've mentioned knees. I forgot knees exist apparently because you said knees and I was like, oh my God, they do hurt. Because like I've been meaning to get them looked at. That was next on the list. Is after my hip, I would do my knees.
Yep.
But it's
Top
not.
down.
It's not the primary pain of the moment. So I was like, oh shit.
It's all background stuff.
Like I have
my
knees.
ankle. My ankle causes me like pain in my knee.
Yeah.
Oh, my knee is numb. That's cool.
Cool beans.
Whatevs. It's fine. But yes, so your posture is, and I don't like PTs necessarily just because they're like the correct posture.
Right.
But correct posture is like what's correct for you and your body.
It's like that TikToker you showed me.
Yeah.
He was talking about like, what was it? There's like stretching it out, getting everything mobile again, but then there's correct for you posture.
Yeah. And so essentially what it is if you don't have pain, your posture's fine. But
I have lots of pain.
Yeah. But we, as zebras, tend to find maladaptive postures to make up for deficits. So if a shoulder is out chronically, we tend to dip toward that side.
Yeah.
Right? And then your ribs are popped out over here and your back is curved and it's just not good. So we do compensate a lot for injuries and other things. And that can affect our posture and how we are moving. So, like I said earlier, I think learning how to move is super important.
Fact.
Because we cheat. And then we are in pain. Not to say, because I hate when people tell me this, not to say that your posture is what's causing your pain.
Right.
But it can be a contributing factor that you are able to manage just through a little bit of mindfulness. And just practice, because it's not going to be like perfect all the time. And it's going to feel weird. It feels weird. It feels like you're leaning back, essentially, which is weird for me because we're always in that like kind of hunched forward position in one way or another. So yeah, it takes some time and some work, some effort and energy.
I'm gonna have you fix my back later.
Okay.
One of my ribs is definitely out. That's why I was leaning over sideways, like I can feel it.
Yep. They're terrible.
I hate ribs.
They're stupid.
But they taste so good.
Oh my god. I'm gonna have them removed and then you can eat them.
No, thank you. I'll pass.
So we're gonna moving right along. I have a question for you.
Yeah, it's so ominous.
Yeah. So last week we talked a lot about like becoming your illness or avoiding becoming your illness.
Yeah.
And distancing yourself. But I know you've had experiences in the past with like feeling hopeless in all of that.
Yeah.
So what was your, I guess 2 parts. So what was your lowest point in like letting EDS become you? And then what motivated you to pull out of that mode of thinking?
That's a really good question. That's a damn good question. Let's see. The lowest, not the suicide attempt, because that was pre-diagnosis. It would have been living at the Fundy house when I was in the basement around back surgery time.
Okay.
So we knew you had EDS.
Mm-hmm.
So we assumed that since I have the same
Yeah.
symptoms that I have EDS. And it was along the lines of the mourning piece, like losing,
Yeah.
like, you know, dealing with the fact that your future's now altered permanently in your head. And I was fighting that so hard. I was like, I can't be this diagnosis.
Yeah.
Like I refused to be it.
Yeah.
Like I'd explain it to certain people, maybe like 4 people, and that was it. Like,
Yeah.
This is what's going on with me. Now leave me alone in my dark cave, and I would
Right.
cry myself to sleep forever.
Right.
It was bad. And that was when I was on a lot of meds too. So I was just an emotional wreck.
Right.
God, how did I even survive that? Thinking about it now, like I had
Right.
manic depression going on. It got rough.
Yeah.
Like 3 times, so it got really bad. But that was the that was the worst of it.
Yeah.
And it got dark. And it was a lot of that. I don't want to be EDS. I can't be EDS.
Yeah.
And that was when it was getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much that I had realized I had EDS. It was the progression and how quick it was happening.
Yeah.
Like that startles me when that happens.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. Like anytime something new pops up,
Yeah.
and especially like with the movement disorder piece, I don't think I've processed it all the way through because like I haven't thought about what having a movement disorder entails
Mhm.
necessarily. I'm just like, I just need someone to help me with it. But yeah, no, I understand that, like, and it, for me, it wasn't, I can't be the illness. It was, I can't be the body.
Right.
Because for me, like, the body is the source of what hurts me.
Right. Well,
I
I mean,
think.
they equate the same way in
Yeah.
my head
Mm-hmm.
as like a separate.
Yeah.
But it's like imagining that your body is forcing itself on you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know if you understand
when
what
it
this could feel like.
insists that you can't do things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was it. And God, I don't really know what took me out of it. Because when you're depressed, I'm not sure how anyone gets out of depression.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I got out of it other than medication and a lot of effort.
Time.
Yeah.
And time. That's the other piece. And that's, like we talked about before, things can feel like forever.
Oh, yeah.
And especially like with EDS, when you have bad, I want to say episodes, but they're not really episodes because it's like a cycle.
Right.
Like it comes in waves, and sometimes it's horrible and other times it's manageable. So I don't know. It's, yeah, pulling yourself out of it. There's a lot of like, you just have to trust that it won't be forever.
Right. It's one thing to know it, and it's another thing to believe it.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Like,
Well, and to be able to pull yourself away from the feelings enough to examine them.
yeah.
And that's the hard part, is being able to kind of take a step back and go, okay, I feel this way, but is this accurate?
Yeah. I think a lot of it was starting at New Health and doing therapy, and therapy really didn't work on specifically like depression or anything, but accepting the fact that things have happened.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of denial, a lot of my own gaslighting. Like,
Right.
that wasn't that bad. It was,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Coming to terms with that helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then working on the body at the same time.
Well, and that's the thing, is like finding things that you can do
Yeah.
for the body or to manage the body. And like for right now, you're doing exactly that, working out every morning.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, not knowing what pulled you out is, I don't know. I've always kind of felt that too, where I'm like, it just is or it isn't. That's just,
Yeah.
it either is horrible or it's not.
It's such a weird mindset. Like, it's so hard to describe depression to people who haven't had it, because it's not just being sad. It's so much more.
Yeah.
Like yesterday when I had that manic episode, I was like, everything was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything. And
Yeah.
there was no point to anything I did, and everything sucked.
Right. Well, and that's when
For
the
no reason.
anxiety starts to build, because
Yeah.
you're like trapped in this feeling in this world that you've made for yourself, and you're like,
Yeah.
what is this?
How do I get out?
Yeah.
I want off Mr. Bones Wild Ride.
Yes. Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
It was a good question.
Now it's your turn. Haha.
I have to come up with a question now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I know everything there is to know about you.
Mostly, yeah.
My brain was like, ask her when her birthday is. Like, I know when it is. Ask her anyways. It'll be funny. What?
What's your birthday?
My brain? Why are you like this? Can we just ask a normal question, please?
It's like the other day. While you're thinking, I'll tell the story of the Gatorade.
Oh.
So I manage my dysautonomia symptoms with lots and lots of Gatorade that I make from the powder mix. And so yesterday, when I was coming over to kind of like we were venting, it was a bad day. And I was like, I'm going to make Gatorade and then I'll be right over. And your brain went,
make Gatorade? What are you, a fucking wizard?
because he forgot that there's a powder.
Yeah, totally. I was like, who the fuck makes Gatorade? Is there some like Etsy recipe somewhere to make Gatorade?
It's homemade. It's mostly table salt.
It's
and some sugar. It's just salty sugar water. With some blue dye in it. I don't know.
And then I messaged her. I was like, the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know why, but like I know there's a powder.
Yep. There you go.
My question to you, are you a fucking wizard?
I am. Yes.
I had a good question and then I lost it.
Oh no.
We enjoyed life too much for a second.
Bring the sadness back.
Oh, I have a question. It's a good question.
Okay.
Have you been dealing or coming to terms with your future anxiety at all? Like, have you made progress at all?
Yes and no, I guess. So I don't know. I think for me it was a lot of like I had to verbally process the feeling itself.
Yeah.
And then once that part's out of the way, I can kind of logic around it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, first of all, I don't have to make those big decisions for another year or so. And then just reminding myself that it gets different.
Yeah.
And that little mantra helps me to remember that like however I'm feeling now, it's not going to apply. So things get different. And
yeah.
I think I said it in the last episode. It's like, if it's not okay, it will be, and then it won't be, and then it will be again, because that's how the world works. We just go in circles.
Mm-hmm.
And not to make it like existential. So please, God, don't take it that way, because that's horrible. But yeah, I think for me, it's a lot of like reminding myself that I have options and I have time, and that I don't have to make that call right now.
Right.
And that I can bring it back to the now focused piece. And that helps with that anxiety a lot, because yeah, I don't plan. I'm not a planner at all.
Right.
I'm just not built that way.
I used to try it.
Yeah.
Like in attempts to grab for control
Mm-hmm.
in my life, I would try and make plans, and then
Yeah.
if the plan fell through, there was the end of the universe.
Yeah.
Like,
So you're like, oh, I'm a failure.
yeah, I couldn't even do this one simple thing that I set up myself as a goal.
Yep.
But and then it's EDS related or
Right.
yeah.
Or out of spoons, or yeah.
Right.
Or your body does that thing where it forces you to rest.
Yeah.
Where you're like, no, bud, you're done. You're done. It's
Oh,
time
no,
to lay
bud.
down.
We're done there, bud.
Yeah. Oh, no more. No more upright for you.
Let's go to Minnesota. Oh, bud. You're done.
Yes. So yeah, no, I think that kind of bringing it back to the now helps a lot. Because yeah, I get that I have stakes, but like nothing's changed really.
Right.
It's only my thinking that's changed. And so
Once you can
I have to adapt.
Yeah, once you can internalize that it's hard to describe. Not like it's a release. It's like that things are going to change.
Yeah.
You just got to be adaptable.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's also that like if I'm grabbing for control, like what do I have control of? I have control of now.
Exactly.
So if I want to grab for control, now is the time
Mm-hmm.
to direct that energy. So yeah,
A lot of the depression was beat that way.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of the depression that wasn't EDS based had to do with Jen's work situation
Mm-hmm.
when she had that horrible job.
Yeah. Well, and she was gone so often.
Oh God, I saw her once a month for a year.
Yeah.
She worked
It's awful.
80 plus hours every week
With a baby.
with a baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She was preggers through it, and then Rory happened, and then she quit that job, and then he went back. And
Yeah.
that was just stressful as hell. Like,
Yeah.
our living situation was dependent on her job. And
yeah. Well, and not knowing what was wrong with you.
right.
And
Because
then
I was like,
having
I
these
need to bring
kids.
money to the table.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?
Right.
A lot of self-hate.
Yeah, I get that.
But once you can internalize you can manage.
Yeah.
Like, just be adaptable to the situation.
Right.
Focus on the now.
Exactly. And right now, what can I control right now?
I can throw stuff at you. Can I control that? I don't know. I might not be in control.
Intrusive thoughts. Ready, go.
Hit her with everything in the room.
Okay, so I have maybe a trigger warning for this question.
Uh-oh.
Just so you guys know. Since you've been there a couple times, what kind of led up to the suicidality? What feelings were behind that?
It's going to take me a second to process. Processing. Like, first I have to
Loading.
remember.
Yeah. I told the neurologist the same thing. He was like, what does it feel like? And I'm like, hold on.
Let me
If I'm not in pain right now,
pull out,
it's hard to fix
go
it.
through my Rolodex.
Mhm.
Remember. Hopelessness was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Before diagnosis, when it was like a serious, when I had to get locked up, when
Yeah.
they put me on hold, that was there was no solution.
Mm-hmm.
I was super frustrated at myself, and I blamed myself for everything that was going wrong at the time.
Mm-hmm.
When a lot of it was like just money stuff, and like Jen was out of her bad job and looking for a job, and I was a mess. There was a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
At that time, both EDS related and not.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you hit a point when you don't care, and that's can be scary.
Yep.
When you're like, oh, I could do this and I wouldn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start acting it out, and then you're like, okay, I should probably get help.
Yeah.
It was like the middle of the night, and I woke Jen up. I was like, Jen, I think I need to go on suicide watch. She's like, why? Because I kind of slipped my wrists.
Oh, shit.
And she was like, yeah, we'll find someone to watch the kids and go.
Oh my
I was like, yeah.
Oh, God.
It was bad. But it was the only way I can describe it is hopelessness that leads into whatever word you would describe that feeling of just whatever.
Like you just turn off.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no emotionality anymore.
Yeah.
There's just a solution.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the right solution, but it's there.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, hey, I could just do this.
Yeah, I don't think I've been that close to the edge since living at parents' house.
Yeah.
That I think, like I've had a lot of like really bad emotional breakdowns that have happened over the years,
Mm-hmm.
but I think like I don't know, the lack of control was really big for me, and it felt like shouting into the void.
Yeah.
And no one was hearing me, and no one could see me, and I felt completely invisible, and like I was wearing this label on my forehead that was just wrong.
Yeah.
And I was tired of being the problem.
Yeah.
So I think that's the closest I ever came. But
no, that sounds pretty fucking close though.
Yeah.
Like
I was just
that hopelessness
terrified that
piece
it wouldn't go through, and that they would find me, and then I'd be locked up, and then blah blah blah. So I never went that far. But
the not being heard piece is
mm-hmm.
huge.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's just there's no answer. Like
right.
When you don't know what's wrong with you, when everyone says you're fine,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's something clearly wrong with you, but you can't name it or point at it.
Right. And then I think like lack of communication skills played a huge role, because anytime I tried to communicate what was going on, it was wrong.
Yeah.
And then I was mad at myself because I couldn't articulate what I needed to. And no matter what I said, it was getting interpreted the wrong way in some way or another. So, yeah.
The worst part about it is like when it might not be universal, but like understanding that no one can help you.
Mm-hmm. Like
I've reached out to people and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, literally there's nothing I can do for you. But
right.
I was like, yeah, that's true. But they say reach out. So I'm trying to reach out now.
Right.
Extending the arm.
Yeah.
And then being shut down.
And then people are like, shake your hand and walk away.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, pull me out.
Please. Please. Yeah. I mean, it's not on them though. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
no,
But-
and it was and that's where the like communication piece comes in, because how do you communicate that when you're just a little traumatized?
Not choking on water.
Just breathing it. It's fine. Blah. You all right?
Nope. I'll be fine.
I'm not all right, but I'll be fine.
Yeah.
There you go.
So no, I don't have a question for you.
All right, that's fine by
I'll
me.
come up with questions next time.
Yes,
It was just the thought I had that
Yeah.
we could.
I think it'd be fun. Cause I don't think we've like more opinionated stuff.
Right.
All right, my friends. Thanks for coming along. We super appreciate it. Again, like, share, subscribe, comment. We'd
Share
love
it.
to hear from you. And join our Discord. It is in the link down below.
Yeah, we don't know where to post this for people who need it. We just don't know how to spread word.
Right.
We're not good at that.
Yeah.
So if you know of people, or you know people who know people, just saying.
Send them an episode and don't explain.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be about EDS either. We're open to everything.
Yep.
Like a lot of our experiences are universal. So
Right. Especially within like chronic illnesses and
Yeah.
invisible illnesses as a whole.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Diversify. Send it. Share it wide and far. All right, my friends. This is where we'll say goodbye. Take care.
Have a good one.
Indeed.